everybody doing? I hope you're having a good one. Just to warn everybody, we've been having some little mini earthquake shakes over here, and for some reason it like disrupted the Wi-Fi earlier. So if there is any buffering or issues today, it might actually be my fault. But once again, if it comes from an earthquake, there ain't shit I can do. So hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. It's, you know, for those who don't live in California, our earthquakes are not like what you see in the movies where it's like everything's shaking and falling off the walls. Most of the time, like the building does a little shake or the ground feels like it rolled and you're like, was that an earthquake or did a really big truck just like pass by and shake everything around? So, you know, not that we don't have those big ones, but still those are more few and far between. And it's more, did that actually happen, and Googling if it was an actual earthquake or not. Oh, thank you, Carson. No, I don't, Preston. I cut, I dye, and I style my own hair. I don't let nobody else touch my head. So, let's see. Hey, Madeline. Hey, Lindsay. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Donna. And hello to my Preston. How are you guys all doing this morning? And hi, Raina. Sorry, I almost didn't see yours. Hey, Mimi, I'm glad you made it too. What is the, and hi, Madeline, what is the weather like where you guys are at? Hopefully better. Hey, Marissa. Hi, Lynn. Hopefully you guys aren't, you know, dealing with any craziness. I know the weather is kind of whacked out all across the country right now. Hey, Riz. It's rainy where you are, Preston. Oh my goodness. So I was like, even South Africa is getting the craziness, huh? And once again, I just have to give a shout out to my beautiful friend Angie, who had sent me the gorgeous South African doll. She sent me another package, and just one of the cool things that was in there was the African tarot, and she sent me this on purpose because she said that it has a whole lot of get straight to the point, you're gonna fuck around and find out kind of energy. And so I agreed, because the second that I pulled it out of the box, I was like, oh, these cards mean business. So we will use them soon when we need to really get into some more of those evil Diddy people or the other gatekeepers of the industry for the Santanas and the people that we're going to look at today with their weak ass energy. We're going to save that for something that it really needs to be on. But did you guys see, speaking of diddle bop, did y'all see that he settled his racism lawsuit with the liquor distributor, and now they're the sole owners of Deleon? So first of all, I predicted that. I was like, I know for sure I said it in Patreon. I'm not sure if I said it over here, but I predicted that. Just wait, because The Rock is going to be next, and then so will Revolt, because they're not done taking everything away from him by any means. I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, that means that they had some sort of a settlement with him. Just going to give you a little message from Spirit on that one, that Spirit said, no, they did not. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but originally they had said that Diddy only ever invested like $1,000 into the company anyways, like in their rebuttal to all the court paperwork. And so what Spirit said is they gave him a very small settlement that was just more about compensation for using his likeness to promote the brands. But he didn't really have like the ownership in it for them to really like buy him out the way that we'll hear like Jay-Z, you know, sold the champagne company for $1 billion, you know, so he came up off of that because he was the majority owner. The Diddle was not in this situation. It was more of a licensing type of a deal. And so what Spirit's saying is he got like $250,000, and most of that just went towards the lawyers, the taxes that you would end up having to pay for that. Like if he made $25,000 out of that, that would have been something. And when you're not making any money and all your deals are getting canceled and dropped left, right, and center, that's not what you want as your settlement. Because at least if he'd had the Jay-Z level of ownership in the company, that he could have sold half of it or all of it and gotten like, you know, a couple $100 million at least it would have been like, well, I can safely retire. But no. So that one didn't work out the way that he expected it to be. Well, listen, I just want to ask y'all something, because I was talking to Angie about this and I was like, have you ever heard of Diddy being Haitian? Never once have I ever heard anybody talk about Diddy's Haitian roots or how he's Haitian. I've heard them name off different like African countries that he was supposedly supposed to have some sort of, you know, ancestry from, you know, after he did some tests or something like that, the DNA test, you know, that everybody does. But I've never ever once ever heard anybody in life say anything about Diddy and Haiti in the same sentence. But yet he got the Haitian goddess on his back, and on top of that, it's this is, you guys, we don't ever have to appropriate spiritual deities. There is ones for every fucking culture, ethnicity, race, country, area of origin, whatever you want to call it, in every single place on this earth. If, you know, that's why when Carlos and Mucus want to appropriate Medusa, I'm like, she ain't gonna do shit for you, bitch, because she doesn't look like you and she doesn't claim you. And on top of it, when you're trying to portray the world's oldest living Me Too victim as some sexy demon, oh, she's definitely gonna whoop your fucking ass. So it's the same thing with him putting, what was it, Israeli, I don't want to say the wrong name, but we know who he put on his back. And why would you put somebody that's known as the protector of women and children from abusers when you are the biggest woman and child abuser out there? So none of these spirits that they be fucking around with are spirits to mess with. But let me tell you, that's also a part of the agenda, because then it gets unwitting people who are dumb enough to follow these celebrities to be like, well, I'm going to start fucking around with Papa Legba too, or whoever. And it's like, oh my God, you have no idea like what you're getting yourself into. And it's just another way for people to be, you know, spiritually attacked. And the other thing is too, guys, be real fucking careful about anything that you use that has a celebrity's name attached to it. Because I've told y'all, they're all Satanists and they all be fucking around with all kinds of magic in order to have everything that they do. And so that includes putting energy harvesting spells on everybody and glamour spells and all kinds of stuff. That's why people get sucked into fandoms, because the spell hit them. And rather than just being like, oh, I enjoy that music, you know? So because of that, you know, alcohol, they call it spirits for a reason. There's a reason why ancient ancestors, you know, they weren't drinking alcohol on a daily basis. They would literally only use it for certain rituals, because they would say that you get drunk to the point that you can call down spirits and let them possess you in order for an ancestor to take over your body, or a god or a goddess during some type of a ritual, and to be there in the flesh, and there's a designated person within that sphere that gets drunk, you know, and does that, or as libations to ancestors and gods and goddesses. But when you're drinking the diddle liquor and you're in the club listening to this low vibrational music, dancing around, doing all kinds of, you know, shit every which way, you are letting so much negative low vibrational energy into you, and God knows what the fuck that they attach to that stuff. That's why I will ask you guys if you've tried celebrities' makeups. I will never do it. I have never tried anything from Ariana, Selena, Fenty, Hailey, any of those people, and I will not, because I'm not putting their shit on my skin and on my face. I'm not consuming foods that they sell. I'm not consuming any fucking liquor that is attached to Diddle or Jay-Z. I'm not spraying robots perfume on myself, because those are all just ways for them to make it that little thing, you know, whether it's the food, whether it's the alcohol, whether it's the perfume, whether it's the lip gloss. That's all that medium that they needed for you to have in your hands and start utilizing, so you're absorbing that energy. It's the same concept as if, you know, Diddy's in his house doing a voodoo doll on me, except I made it easier because I bought a fucking bottle of Delion just because I was like, Diddy's selling it. So be really careful. This is the year that we all need to really start fucking tapping into our intuition and our discernment, questioning everything, doing our own research. There is way too much spiritual warfare in this world. We have to protect ourselves and not unwittingly sign ourselves up for giving our energy to these demon people. Yes, Lindsay, they do. Your ancestors that were your ancestors in your very first life will still be around you, even if this is your 10,000th lifetime on this planet. Once a spiritual team is assigned to you, they will always be your spiritual team. So, yep. And make this the year, you guys, that we do not eat fast food, because we all know it's nothing but absolute trash and garbage anyways. It's just salt and sugar, the cheapest meat, the cheapest, nastiest, everything that you can put into food. Half of it's just chemicals. And we have to protect ourselves and our health, you guys. The pandemic that we just went through, it's not the only one that we're going to go through. Because a part of the warfare that we're experiencing is biological warfare. And I'm going to have to stop talking about this in a second, because I'm crossing some major lines over here where I'm risking my channel. So the rest of it, you're going to have to go to my Patreon if you want to know more about it. But we have to protect ourselves. We cannot fuck around with our health any longer. And the easiest way that we can do that is to really be diligent about the way that we treat our bodies, whether that's managing our stress, not eating processed foods, trying to lessen, you know, our exposure to certain chemicals and things like that. So just, you know, please, guys, I want us all to be in our best space. I really do. I want all of us to be happy. I want all of us to be healthy. I want all of us to be healed. And that goes for myself too. Listen, I ain't even gonna lie. This is the most out of shape I have ever been in my entire life. Because when I had the Voldemort, after that, like I said the other day, it set off what my doctor called like an autoimmune storm in my body, to where I had to take steroids, and that made me gain weight. And then when I got off of them, I lost the weight too fast, and then that fucked up my thyroid, and so I gained the weight back. So I'm trying to stay away from all that pharmaceutical stuff and heal myself naturally and get in shape and take care of myself too, so we can all do this together, and we can all be let's get healthy together buddies. And that's the thing too. Mind, body, spirit is all connected. So you can't be completely physically unhealthy and out of shape and struggling with things that you can control, you know, like our diet and exercise, and think that your mental and spiritual health is going to be in a good place. They're all connected, and if you want all of those systems to be running properly, we have to maintain all of them. It's like a car. You can't only take care of the engine and, you know, you're always making sure that the engine transmission or the engine fluid's okay and getting your oil changes and this and that, but you completely neglect the transmission. The transmission goes out, the whole fucking car goes out. It doesn't matter how much you babied the engine. So we have to remember that for ourselves. Okay, guys? So I've been eating fruit and vegetables, overall good diet since 13, but I do smoke weed and drink alcohol. So yeah, balance. Listen, I use marijuana because I'm not trying to take a bunch of narcotics because I also have fibromyalgia. So that's what's worked best for me, in that it may not relieve all of my pain, but at least it, like, you know, combining it with CBD that helps lower the inflammation, and then just, you know, at least it takes the edge off enough so I can continue to do what I needed to do, or to be able to relax enough to go to sleep at night. But I also am not walking around high all the time either. Because I still have to get shit done. So it's like, just take the edge off enough so you can focus on what you need to do. Because if I get too high, all I'm going to do is want to sit on the floor and talk to Michael Jackson's spirit and not do anything else. I'm not the girl that's like, oh, I'm going to get like high and go eat a burrito. Like, I'm like, let's talk to Michael Jackson. So, ooh, homemade chicken soup, Val. That sounds good. So, anyways, guys, so apparently Saucy Santana has been dropped from RCA. I told you guys just last month that these labels, you know, were all suffering financially and we're gonna start dropping people, and I said we'll probably see Sweetie get dropped. But apparently, though, Nico Voodoo, as we call it, hit Saucy Santana first, right? So this is gonna be interesting, you guys. I don't really pay very much attention to him. The only time that I ever know what's going on with him is when Mob's World posts something that he's involved in. So, is he on Love and Hip Hop, or he's about to be? Because I wasn't sure if that was true, because I saw it like in the comments, or I wasn't sure if people were just saying like, oh, now he has to go to Love and Hip Hop, or if he's really about to like be on it. So can you guys let me know in the comments? Child. Michael would be like, girl, what you doing? There's been a couple times that I did get really high and I wanted to channel Michael Jackson, and the spirit told me to sit down. So apparently Michael Jackson didn't want to talk to me when I was high. I was like, damn it. I might leave for a tiny bit. I need to wash my hair. Go wash your hair, Sana. He has a deal with Love and Hip Hop. Okay. And the ATL one. Okay. I just wasn't sure, you know, because sometimes that's like an insult. Where people say like, oh, your career's dead, go on Love and Hip Hop. So that's why I was like, are people just saying that as an insult, or that's really like what's going on? They definitely should be taking advantage of that. And also, I mean, did you guys see too that, speaking of Carisha, that they had to cut all of the parts of diddle bop out of her upcoming reality show. So they were like filming her in the club the other night, which, by the way, listen, I don't like to be like that mean about people, but like the videos that I've seen of both Carisha and Saucy the last couple days, I'm like, I thought y'all had like hella surgeries, because it didn't really seem like somebody that's had a bunch of BBLs, especially Saucy. I was like, that purple dress that he was in, where he had the diddle juice leaking out of his booty on the back of it, I was like, oh God. Also, that looked like some dress that like my mom would have worn like to church or something. Like it looked like an old lady dress. Oh, I told you guys that that was going to be the new thing, that she was going to go be around Ari all the time and start letting people speculate on if they were scissor sisters or if they were in a throuple now, because it would get the heat off of her with the diddle stuff. So I want to see what the cards are going to say about just Saucy Santana just to begin with, and then we'll get into the questions. Because sometimes the cards be answering everything before we even get to the questions, or sometimes they just be giving us some extra shade that we didn't know about. But, I mean, it was just funny to me that he was in that damn dress, because I'm like, aren't you the one that's always acting like, ew, like, I'm so fashionable and this and that. And I was like, but you look like somebody's grandma or auntie that's on their way to church or work in that sweater dress with them big ass Rick Owens boots that had the sole almost hanging off of them. So I was just like, and that's the other thing, Saucy. Like, Rick Owens, he may not be Gucci to some people, and I know his wife is very strange, but Rick Owens, like, makes good quality clothes. So if you, like, tore them damn shoes up like that, the F were you doing in them? Well, wasn't Saucy the one with the bucket of chicken on his rider? I think so, if I remember correctly, because I remember he was like trying to show off like he was like big and bad because he got like his writer stuff, you know, backstage like fulfilled, but then people were like, that's just some fucking chicken in a bag on top of a folding table, and started clowning him. So I don't know. I mean, I bet you anything Academics, because I don't watch his stuff, so he probably already discussed it. But I was like, Academics was probably sitting there like, ha ha, when he saw that Saucy got dropped, because I know that they got into their shit. And again, at the end of the day, Academics is just as big of a piece of shit. However, just because Academics is a piece of shit does not make it okay for him to get threatened that he's going to get assaulted in the way that Santana was trying to threaten Academics. And I think that people should have held him accountable, because if the tables were turned and Academics was the one saying that shit to Carisha, the Academics wouldn't have a fucking channel anymore. He wouldn't have nothing. We would have burned it down to the freaking ground. So, and that would be the thing that would finally cancel his ass. So we need to start having the same rules across the board for everybody and stop excusing shit just because we like or don't like one person. Wrong is wrong regardless. So I can't even call him Saucy Santana anymore after I've seen someone call him Saltine Salsa. It lives rent-free in my head. Oh my God. Well, let me tell you, do you know how hard it is to find, when you Google his ass, do you know how hard it is to find pictures of him, because Carlos Santana shows up first? I'm not kidding. When I was trying to make the thumbnail, it was Carlos Santana kept getting like recommended to me, and I had to scroll all the way down, and then the one that I put in the thumbnail was the first one of Santana that popped up, and I was like, well, Google won't like him either, I guess. Because pictures, and then the only one we do is with you having snot coming out of your nose. So, anyways, he was definitely, Spirit and the cards are saying he was benefiting from the diddle bop connections just as much, if not more, than Carisha herself was. And we always have known, and we've always talked about that. And I've said from the very beginning, from the very first time I ever spoke on Carisha and Diddy, was that this was a PR beard type of a situation. I know everybody has insinuated that Santana was the one that was, you know, really hooking up with Diddle Bop, and that Carisha was just the front person for that. While I do not see, unfortunately for us, because I would have loved it, because then we could have had something else to drag, I don't get that Santana is Diddy's type. However, was he being maybe passed off to some friends at the party? All alleged for entertainment purposes only. We're just sitting over here telling lies and laughing. Had to cover my ass. Y'all know it's true. So, Carisha, I mean, this is Diddy. We all know he's already got some claims of trafficking anyways. So, but that's what goes on a lot in Hollywood. And if you want to know more about it, go to patreon.com/psychicbellalove. Also, reminder, because all of these topics that we are talking about today have been chosen by my Patreons, that is the only place that I take requests. We do not take them on YouTube. So, anyways, you know, because of his friend Ghislaine, I mean Carisha, he was able to benefit from her relationship that she had going on with Diddle, and Spirit is saying that because they can't be seen around each other right now, Diddle can't be out partying like he wants to, and that has also hurt Santana's income, because it's talking here about a reversal of money, and Spirit is saying this is money that he was counting on, and now that it's gone, he is stressing. And then now you add in, holy fucking shit, my record label dropped me. He is stressing the fuck out. He's gonna try to pretend like this was a mutual decision if he does address it, because Spirit's saying he's actually gonna try his hardest not to, because he's extremely embarrassed as well, because when he got signed, he was acting like he was, you know, Lil Wayne. And he was gonna have, you know, a Nicki type career or something, and he was just the baddest bitch ever, and he was gonna wrap up with all the legends. And, you know, this is again why I've said that Carlos also, like, fucked herself over, because she ran around talking about I'm the greatest and I'm top 10 and I have a Grammy and all that stuff, and constantly promising a second album that's never came. And she can't just transition into anything else. And, you know, because people are always going to be asking her, where's that album? Look at, they ask Rihanna to this day, where's the album? So, and we know Rihanna's able to laugh it off and be like, bitch, I'm a billionaire. I got makeup. I don't need the album. But Carlos is way too fucking sensitive for that shit, and so is Santana. They freak out because their feelings get hurt, because they're insecure, and so Spirit's saying he's going to try real hard not to have to address this. If he does, you know, we're going to get nothing but lies and bullshit, where he's going to just claim that it was like a mutual decision because he didn't feel like he was getting creative control or whatever nonsense that like a real artist would say. Because again, what creativity do you freaking have, Santana, that you need to have control over? You are just as offbeat with just as horrible of a voice as Carisha. Your songs suck. So, I mean, didn't he even do a song with Lil Nas X and it didn't go anywhere? Like, Madonna co-signed you when that shit didn't go anywhere. Like, hang it up, Delicious. But, you know, he's incredibly embarrassed about that. Spirit saying that this whole I'm about to be on Love and Hip Hop thing is like a short-lived victory. I won the battle, but I definitely didn't win the war, because Spirit saying that his behavior on the show, you know, it's like, oh, I'm celebrating because at least I have one job in the can that I can count on right now. However, there's going to be a lot of backlash about some shit that he does on that show and says, and the behavior that he has, where people are just going to be like, this motherfucker is just trash. And that's also going to piss him off. Expect lots of rants. He's going to be in his Carlos era of like, every little thing will set him off, and he's going to be on Twitter Spaces screaming and bitching at people. It's just like the way that Spirit keeps showing it is he's kind of trapped right now, and it's like going in circles and trying to like find a new way to capitalize off of the name recognition that you and your friends have, but you don't have any real talents to fall back on. You're not beloved enough to really like set yourself up like a Kardashian, for example. You know, as much as we can all love or hate them, the reason why Kylie was able to be Kylie Jenner and have Kylie Cosmetics and keep opening all these brands and keep having more seasons of this damn show is because for a while at least, there was a big group of people out there who really fucked with Kylie. They did think she was cool. They did try to emulate her. They were excited to buy her stuff, and that's what catapulted her into having the ability to do the things that she does now, right? Saucy's never established that for himself. So, and, you know, again, the other thing about, you know, the difference between like the Kardashians and him too is they have their own show. They're not competing with a cast of a whole bunch of other people on an already established show that people don't really take that seriously anyways. You know, if he was having his own reality show, or if it was like he and Carisha's, then he could control the narrative a little bit more in the editing process, and then it would kind of be like, okay, we have your own thing. But we've all kind of been trained at this point to kind of take Love and Hip Hop with a grain of salt and just see it as very lowbrow entertainment, but like everybody that's on there is kind of on their last legs as a joke, you know? And it kind of has that like connotation of that's where you go when your career is dying. And so, you know, Spirit saying it's like, if he gets anything, it's gonna be stuff like that, or like, do you want to go on baddies on Zeus because they don't want Croissant back because she's a liability? But it's really gonna be like just a bunch of lowbrow reality type of stuff. Now I am gonna ask the cards, because I know people were saying that like since Carisha and him can't work with Diddle, that maybe they'll do a Carisha Please type of a podcast together. So I want to see what Spirit has to say about that. Well, from what I heard is that Zeus is trying to move away from just being like very, you know, cheaply produced stuff like Jocelyn's Cabaret and Baddies, and that they're trying to move into bringing more like household names and bigger celebrities over to the platform, whether it's Like, say Garcelle from, Beverly Hills, like if she produced a movie, like they would want it to air on Zeus rather than her sell it to Lifetime or Bravo or one of the other networks or BET. So they're trying to kind of establish themselves, from what I've been told from people that work in the industry behind the scenes. Zeus is trying to position itself to be a BET of sorts. And their ultimate hope is that they build it up into a bigger conglomerate, and then somebody like a Tyler Perry will then buy the network if he's unable, because all the mess that went on with him and other people trying to purchase BET. So that's why they're trying to move away from that shit. And they're also trying to protect themselves from litigation, because that doesn't help if you ultimately want to build your network up to be bigger and better, but also eventually sell it to somebody like a Tyler Perry. And so that's why Jocelyn is no longer employed over there, and that's why they didn't re-sign Croissant, and they might end up scrapping the baddies and sending it to another network, is what I've heard too. So but let's see what Spirit has to say about the two of them on this. Well, it's because everybody's beating each other up and people are getting sued because of it, Hannah. And think about it. If they start like establishing themselves, like say like the Braxtons, like I think that they are going to Zeus, aren't they? There was somebody that I remember recently saying that they said that they dropped Jocelyn and then it was like, oh, but they're going to have this show on the network now. But think about it. If you had like a bunch of like, BET quality kind of programming on there, not to say that BET is the best, but it's still better than what we're used to with like Tubi and Zeus at this moment. And then you have baddies on there, like, and you're trying to kind of establish yourself to compete with BET, Bravo, those types of channels. I could see where you'd say, let's step away from that, even though it did sort of build up the brand. It's not great for us in the long run. There's a lot of people that overplayed how long and how big of careers that they were going to have in this industry, because again, it's the Cardi B effect, Atlantic just fucked everything up by signing that girl, and then it was like, oh, well, we have to dumb down the rest of the people that were promoting and the industry as a whole, because if we're used to, good music like Kanye, Nicki, J. Cole, Future, Kendrick Lamar, Joyner Lucas, like, that kind of music, and then we're all supposed to suddenly want to listen to Carlos and think that she's a good rapper, that's not going to happen. Right? So they had to dumb everything down. So a lot of these people only got signed and put in position because it was like, well, you're so bad that you'll make Carlos seem like she's halfway decent in comparison. And now that they see that we are no longer accepting Carlos and her mediocre, I don't even think mediocre is a compliment. But, we've all kind of been over that, and we're ready to get back to good music and real music again. Now, all of these other people that they had to kind of shove in our faces to force us to accept Carlos are collateral damage, and they're circling the drain right along with her. So, let's see. And by the way, guys, yes, I know that Trump won the Iowa caucus. Trust and believe he will get charged with some more crimes. They will do everything that they can to make sure this man can't run. So we're not, the game is far from over. It is only getting started. It's going to be a lot of drama this year as far as politics go. I already did a rating on, though I really don't care because they all play for the same team and they all worship the devil and they're all trying to push us towards the new world order. So it doesn't matter who wins anyways. We'll still get the same garbage. To think he actually thought he would get a feature with Nicki. That's what I'm saying though, you guys. Like the entitlement of these people that they all think that anybody has to work with them. I mean, even for you, let's just be real. Even if, say, I got signed tomorrow, I had a viral hit on TikTok, and then I went on the Breakfast Club to promote it, and they're like, oh, you know, what do you got next? I'm like, Coil Ray has to give me a feature on my next song. Even that sounds fucking entitled as shit, and Coil Ray ain't nobody, really. So can you, like, but how dumb would people sound if they were bitching and complaining in interviews or on Twitter that Jay-Z wouldn't give them a verse? 50 Cent wouldn't work with me, you guys. Like, they would get ate the fuck up. But for some reason, everybody thinks that it's okay to make demands on Nicki. And every time that one of them does that, I'm just like, well, guess what? We're filming a music video in the park this weekend and I expect you to show up and perform. Does that sound dumb? Yeah, so stop fucking expecting that people need to do shit with you. It's called, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna prove that I am a good artist and that person will notice me and through my talent will say, gee, you know what? I wanna work with them because they seem dope and we can make a hot record together. Not, they just kept hounding me on Twitter until I finally gave in. Like, stupid. Bella Minaj. Listen, I talked about this in Patreon. My friend tried his hardest to insist that my rap name is Truff B. So, no, my rap name would probably be Juicy Mama. Because Juicy is my other nickname because of my love of Biggie. So I would go over there and be Juicy Mama. So clown all them bitches and make them my sons. Just kidding. Alrighty. You know what? This is the thing that's funny is Carisha has no fucking intentions on doing anything to help Santana right now because, number one, Spirit said she is in crisis mode, trying to do everything that she can to separate herself from that connection with Diddy and the assumptions that people are making, you know, both that she was some sort of a victim too, or that she was into the same stuff, or at least aware of it. All I'm going to say is go, if you haven't seen it on Twitter, Mom's World's page, she has screenshots of it. Don't forget that tweet that she sent to Gina when they were fighting over Diddle and said, you're nothing but an eater. And if I told Diddy right now, he'd make you get on your knees in front of me. But she supposedly didn't know what's going on. Because guess what? If I get in a fight with another bitch, that's the last thing that's coming to my fucking mind to say to her. I would be like, he told me that you fart in bed all the time or some other fucking crazy shit. Like, that would literally be the last thing that, and I can have a ruthless fucking mouth. You only say that shit when you know some shit, okay? And it's stuff like that that people keep bringing up that throws her back into crisis mode because she knows that she has not fully moved herself away from, you know, all of the dirt and the mess that came with that connection that she had with Diddle Bop. So it's like, you know, I'm drowning, I can't save you too, is her mentality. Also, Spirit is saying, we know Carisha's selfish. Look at how many times that she's sat there and let JT defend her, but yet she's never, ever there when JT's getting dragged. She's never defending JT when JT has anything going on. So, Santana's about to get a taste of what it's really like to be Carisha's friend. Because everything was cute and dandy and fun when you were riding off of her clout and when you were ganging up with her to bully JT or to exclude other people. But now that he's not about to have that same level of support, oh, bitch, they're about to have a fight. Because something is coming in this next year. Spirit's saying it's cooking now. You know, we haven't even gotten to that yet. Because Carisha's obviously filming her reality show. She's going to have some other things that come around, opportunities for herself. And I see her choosing to bring Ari along with her because Spirit is talking about there being a deal for another, like, podcast type of a situation, but it might be more like we're doing live interviews, because remember the one that she did with Ari where they did it in front of a live audience? It's like Spirit saying they might do stuff like that where it's like instead of a regular weekly podcast, you know, that we sit down and record, it's more like we go to certain cities, we bring guests on, it's like a live event, we sell tickets, and that's how we're gonna proceed, you know, moving forward. So it's, you know, they would then afterwards we'll go get paid for a club appearance together too. So Spirit saying that she's really trying to more so align herself with Ari and with I keep seeing trying to create like a new girl group of friends. You know, Taylor has her little squad that's got Selena Gomez and a bunch of other white girls that I don't know in it. Because sometimes they're like, this is so-and-so's wife. I'm like, who's that guy? I don't even know who he is, much less who his wife would be. So, like, you guys, for the longest time, I'm not even gonna lie, I thought Miles Teller, I thought they were talking about a character from Sons of Anarchy. I didn't know that they actually, like, there's an actor named Miles Teller. I was thinking about Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy. So I was like, one of the girls from Gossip Girl is in her group of friends, and Selena Gomez and a bunch of other white girls I don't know. But she's trying to create, you know, something similar for herself, because I feel like that's a part of the PR tactic as well. As go kind of sell yourself as a girl's girl, and then we'll make a big deal about you being possibly only into women at the moment, because then that really separates you from the idea of that you might have been an escort or a victim of Diddy's. So she's rebranding, and Santana is not a priority when it comes to the rebrand. While we will see him on the reality show, but I feel like not nearly as much as he would like. And Spirit's saying that there's also something about like, oh, like, well, you know, hopefully it gets picked up for a second season too, and then I can just leave Love and Hip Hop and be on Carisha's show instead, and Carisha being like, you're not a main character on my fucking show, bitch. But there's definitely going to be some sort of huge fight between the two of them, and it is over money and opportunities not being shared the way that Santana would like them to be. And again, you know, it's like here's Carisha showing up as the Queen of Pentacles, but also kind of being in a selfish moment that she's always in, really, but of I'm holding on to everything for myself. I'm not sharing it with you. Anybody that I do share it with, it's only because it somehow benefits me, and you're not going to do anything for me at this moment. So karma comes a knocking for everybody. Make sure yours is good. You guys got any questions? Put them in the chat. Put question in front of it so it doesn't get mixed up with the rest of the comments. Oh, they're totally gonna be jealous of JT because JT ain't got no fucking scandals attached to her other than the fact that she's dating a man named Leslie. So, no, Hannah, because otherwise he wouldn't have gotten signed. That was a punishment ritual for him anyways. I mean, I talked about that in Patreon too. A lot of times when they bring up like these old tweets, oh, you said this in 1984. Even somehow you were on Twitter before it was invented. And you were saying that you didn't like this group of people and you're a horrible racist or prejudiced, whatever. Half the damn time, like, that person never tweeted that shit. It got planted on their account. A bot went and pulled it because somebody decided to cancel them somewhere along the line. Why do you think all this shit's happening to Diddle Bob? Because he pissed off the Seagrams people. The Seagrams people are connected to the original 13 Illuminati families. So they were also the only people who were allowed to sell alcohol during Prohibition. They're very powerful people. He fucked with the wrong people. That's why Diddy's karma and downfall is happening. So, oh, thank you, Ermeline. It's so nice to see you again. Oh, I'm glad you have the cards and you love them too. Even Chris Brown's ex did the same thing and talked about Blue Ivy's hair. Yeah. Oh, karate. I was like, I had to think about it. It was like, which one of his exes said that? I was like, oh yeah, it was karate. But no, surprisingly, Beyonce didn't do anything to him for that. But again, he didn't originally say all that stuff. It was a part of a ritual for him. That's what he had to do in order to get that label deal. Keep the questions to the topic, guys. We're talking about Santana. Oh, they're totally going to get into it publicly, Lindsay. There's going to be lots of Instagram lives of him having his Carlos rants about her. Well, Hannah, I think because the industry was like, it's a ritual, so they just dropped it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, they're definitely getting into it publicly. And if you guys want to book your own personal and private reading with me, psychicbowlove.com. Oh, and guys who aren't in Patreon, guess what? Officially, all of the cats let me pet them now. Stevie was the last holdout. He's our little tabby that has the white face and the bobby socks. And he would still stay like 10 feet away from me and just roll around on the ground and show off the stuff that he could do. And he liked me talking to him, but he would always get really skittish and still wasn't like wanting to come close. In the last few days, he started like directly like letting me hand him his food. And then this morning he rubbed himself all over against me and started meowing at me because he wanted to get pets too. It like came out of nowhere. So we have all of the kitties are friendly now. That's some damn work. Okay. Did Zell get with Santana for fame? No. Spirit's saying that it was actually like the other way around. Because Spirit's saying like Zell's just not really like that, and he feels like he has enough of a name for himself or knows like other people. And Spirit's also saying there's something about like there's been like bigger named people that have wanted to be with Zell, whether it was openly or on the DL or whatever, that he could have clout chased off of, but he didn't. It was because he actually thought like Santana was funny and it was like, oh, we get along. But Santana used Zell so he could get on Love and Hip Hop, and also because he was trying to get back at an ex of his. And so he was the one that used Zell, not the other way around. Keep the questions on topic, guys. Oh my God, Amy, I'm sorry you're freezing in the UK. It's cold everywhere right now. I mean, it even snowed in Vegas. So I guess there's some like Arctic blast kind of weather pattern going on or something. I hope everybody's staying warm. And then no more questions after that, guys, because we'll move on to the next one. How does Santana feel about JT now? Well, him and Carisha haven't started to fall apart yet for him to like change his feelings about JT. I do feel like at some point when him and Carisha fall out, he'll try to go be buddy with JT, but I don't see JT wanting to be friends with Santana. It's like, you've been nothing but a jackass to me, and I always thought you were weird anyways, and just because like, oh, now you see how Carisha isn't the most supportive friend, you want to come be my buddy, but I'm not trying to like double back on that shit. So you know, and he definitely does regret like going after Nikki and turning on her and all of that kind of stuff, but you know, he also kind of knows that he painted himself in that corner, and it's like I kind of got to stand on it now. So they seemed like such an odd pairing. That sounds like Santana. They did, especially because I thought like the last thing I had seen or heard of Zell was that he said that he wanted to like only date women, and he wanted to find a wife and like get married and have kids because, you know, he's bi, he's not fully gay. And then all of a sudden he was out here with Santana, and I was like, Zell, what happened? Dude, I still be laughing at that song that him and Alexis put together for Masika. Bitch, it's 7:30. Why are your feet still dirty? That was like such a catchy little diss. So I don't even watch the show. I just remember that shit went viral everywhere. It was funny. So yeah, I feel bad for Zell though, because he definitely realized that he was getting used in that situation. Is Zell the dude that claims he slept with Lori Harvey? I don't know. I've never heard if he said that or not. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop, so I couldn't really tell you. Like, all I know of it and who's currently on it is just, you know, the stuff that constantly gets reposted on the blogs. From what I can see, it seems like Safari's only job on that show is to move from franchise to franchise and pretend to be somebody's love interest this season. So I don't know if that's true, but that's basically what it looks like from the outside looking in, is that he's always on some new franchise and he's somebody's new boyfriend for the season, and then it turns out that they get fed up and dump him. So but if it pays his bills, good for him. Again, and also for everybody who always says that Safari wrote Nikki's songs. Two things that I just want to ask that, you know, and then try to make it make sense if you still believe that. If Safari was writing Nikki's biggest hits, including for Pink Friday, how come he hasn't wrote himself a giant hit? And wouldn't it have made more sense for him to be, even if he's like, oh, but I don't want to be the performer, then why didn't Atlantic hire you to write invasion of privacy for Carlos rather than partisan Fontaine. Because if they were trying to, if just for example, let's think about this with some logic, guys. The industry wants to replace Nikki. They want a new Nikki. What if Nikki had a ghostwriter that she no longer works with named Safari? Would Atlantic's first move have been to go lock down Safari as their ghostwriter for Carlos? Because it's like, well, you made Nikki's biggest hits. Make a super bass for Carlos. We need her to blow up. That didn't happen because Safari does not fucking write hits. Safari stands in the background in the studio and goes, oh, that one was an earthquake. And ad-libs nonsense, and then gets in the video in outfits that don't match anything else that has to do and does the robot in the backgrounds. Okay, we settled that. Let's move on. Nobody ever say Safari wrote a hit for anybody ever again. He hasn't. And he can't. So, a bisexual. Oh, it was the other one from Miami that got in the fight with Tory Lane's Prince. I think his name is like Prince something. But yeah, he's from, I think, Miami. It wasn't Zell that said that he slept with Lori Harvey. I know who you're talking about now, though, because I'd seen the clip. But yeah, it wasn't him. He exposed himself as being one of Nikki's top listeners. Safari didn't do that because it was a humiliation ritual. Safari did that because he wanted to trend. Because think about it. If you want your name to be trending in the algorithm and you don't give a fuck what it's for, because, you know, like us normal people, if we were trending on Twitter, we would freaking want to make sure that it wasn't because people said that we're stupid or our outfit was ugly or something else. But a lot of these celebrities don't give a shit because they're like, well, who cares if somebody thinks I'm stupid or ugly? Somebody's going to pay attention to me, and then that's going to lead to some sort of deal. Or if I have something to sell, people will buy it because outrage marketing works great. And what is the easiest way to get yourself trending? Attach your name to Nikki. So Safari just takes advantage of the fact that he knows that the Barbs all call him Nikki's biggest stalker. So he plays on that every time that he wants attention or he wants his name trending. Like, stop falling for it. You're giving him the attention that he's looking for. It's the same reason Carlos does it. Because they figured out, oh, it'll work. The Barbs will respond. And so, oh my God, that was fascinating. I can't even wash my hair that quick. So, exactly, like, well, this is why I said, you know, it's like some of the stuff, like, you know, Haley Baldwin, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, like, I feel bad for them, how they can never, ever do anything without having one of the other people's name attached to it. Like, Selena can't put out a lip gloss because Cosmo will write an article about, oh, Selena, the ex of Justin Bieber, who last year was trending after fans said that her and Hailey Bieber were fighting over eyebrows, has come out with a new lip gloss. It's 3 paragraphs of all the fucking bullshit that her and her ex and his new wife have been involved in before you get to what is Selena trying to promote to us. But at the same time, these celebrities play into it too because they know that it'll work. But it's just, I would hate that. I would fucking hate if every single time that y'all mention me and mention my ex-husband, oh, Bella, the girl I get my readings from who used to be married. Like, no. I accomplished all my shit outside of him. Don't be bringing him into my life. I don't want to be involved in his either. Let us move on. Well, speaking of scammers and people who like to do anything for clout, basically that's everybody that we're talking about today, maybe minus Gigi. Uh, but the Ace family is apparently getting a divorce. So let's first and foremost see what the cards have to say, because this could be one of their gigantic stunts. But I don't keep up with anything that these people do. I just watched, as I was getting ready, Dustin Daly and Nick, what's his face? Oh my God, why can't I remember Nick's freaking name all of a sudden? Well, Dustin and Nick uploaded a video. I'm so sorry, Nick. I love you. You're the first drama channel I ever watched, and for some freaking reason, Nick Snyder. I hate that. Oh my God, I had like such a brain fart. Had a video up about it, and somebody in the comments said that they're like, I guess, getting sued a bunch, or there's a bunch of new lawsuits against them. So I have no idea what that's about, or what the lawsuits are about this time. Listen, I'm not even trying, Sana. I'm just letting Spirit lead me, and Spirit's got the same amount of pettiness that I do, probably more. Wait, Catherine was exposed for racism? What happened? I literally haven't paid attention to a single thing that they have done. I haven't even seen them being mentioned. I like forgot that they existed until this divorce thing happened. Because I think the last time I paid any attention to anything that they were doing was like years ago when I first started my channel, and I did a reading on them. So what happened? Oh my God. I know the Austin colorism stuff because Gossip in the City had like reposted the tweets years ago. And let me tell you guys, you will get the royal family readings by the end of this week. A lot has came out, so that's why I was waiting a minute for more revelations to come out to add to the questions that I have. And if you are into this stuff, some of it I'm definitely gonna have to put on a Patreon, but oh my God, I discovered some shit. Woo! Okay. I'm excited to do the reading, but Spirit keeps saying, wait, because there's something else that's going to come out and you're going to want to ask about that too. I'm just like, oh my God, can I sit down and do this already? Because nobody has put together yet what I'm about to expose. But that part's going to have to be in Patreon because I'm not trying to lose my channel. Hey, Lonnie, I'm glad you made it. So, let's see. Okay, this was definitely initiated by Catherine. So I do get that this is real because I know some people were, I know some people were like, you know, saying like, oh, they're going to say that they're getting divorced and then they're going to make a series of videos of them going to couples counseling and film it. And like, then they're going to have a vow renewal, you know, and it's just a bunch more content that they can drag out. But I do get this as being legit. Money is the driver behind her decision. There is some shit that we're going to hear about Austin that's coming to light that is going to put him in a real bad place. Some more accusations that are along the lines of the stuff that maybe he tried to go after. What was that guy's name? Cole Cardigan or something? The one that said that Austin and his dad SA'd his friends. Definite cheating that comes out with absolute proof that can't be denied as well. But there's definitely some other shit, and they're suffering financially too. And it's like the spirit saying, Catherine, for a long time, was willing to look the other way, put up with a lot of stuff because it was affording her, you know, a certain lifestyle. But then once that lifestyle is no longer available, do you stay in a relationship that you're not happy with? You know, it's, who are those people from RHOP? Gordon and Mia. Like, the second that man didn't have no money anymore, she's like, bye, bitch. Like, I don't need to sleep with your old ass anymore. Like, I was only here because, you know, that was our agreement. And it's very much, you know, the same thing. Like, I put up with a hell of a lot and looked the other way and put myself in positions that I wasn't happy with and went along with things I didn't enjoy because it was supposed to be for the kids, for us. We were living good, but it's like, I'm just getting led down all these crazy paths. But this does not exonerate Catherine in any way, shape, or form. Okay, like, let's be clear about that. She's scammy too. Okay, there's no fucking way that I would date somebody, much less live with them, marry them, have kids with them, that was willing to scam my followers all the time if I'm not the same way, right? Like, you just don't do that, because it's like, why would I let you fuck up everything? And why would I let you fuck with people if I'm not like that? So she went along with everything. And again, you know, she was benefiting financially. It's just that now that she's no longer benefiting financially, it's time to set out on her own path and try to make her own money. And she feels like she is going to have a way better shot of doing that. You know, given that there will be this renewed interest in who is Catherine on her own. And she's going to create all this new me. Look at me in my new era, you guys, content. But Spirit's saying, give it a year to kind of calm down, and then everybody's going to be like, you know what, Catherine's just as fucked up as Austin. I mean, people are going to see it for what it is. It may come out, too, that they're not actually legally married. There's something about the validity of the marriage, because remember, like, for the longest time it was like, oh my god, they're engaged, and then everybody kept asking, when's the wedding? And they kept hyping this wedding, and then they said, oh, well, we actually did get married in the backyard, but we're gonna do a bigger wedding. And then they, like, never ended up doing it. At the time, that felt really weird, the way that they said it, because it's the Ace family. How did they not have any footage of this backyard wedding or a marriage license or anything that you would think that they would post? The one time that they decide to do something just for themselves and not share it with anybody, when we've literally, like, seen that girl give birth. I mean, I'm surprised that they didn't upload the videos of them conceiving the kid. Maybe because OnlyFans wasn't the big thing then. But there is something here about the validity of the marriage being in question. Like, was it ever really happened, or was it ever really legal? Because we also have the judgment card next to it. So, because I know people were like, oh, well, let's see if we haven't found any divorce papers. You know, it's like, you might not, because they might not actually have to actually, you know, get divorced. And then it'll be like, well, it was a spiritual marriage, and we were gonna make it legal when we did our big wedding, and, like, we just wanted to say our vows under the tree in the backyard to each other because it was only about love, you guys. They'll have some bullshit excuse. But yeah, she definitely wants to cut her ties and run before Austin starts to go down. Also, somebody else said in the comments on the Nick and Dustin video that Austin was going around messaging OnlyFans girls and saying that he wanted to be their managers. Does anybody else feel like Bluetooth is the Crip version of Austin? They both look similar. They're the same hairdos. It's just one of them claims to be a family guy and the other one's all on schoolyard Crip all the time and all his dumb shit. So nothing against schoolyard Crips, everything against Bluetooth. I'm not making fun of the Crips. I'm making fun of Bluetooth. But they literally look, they're like the same, right? Because it's just when I said that, I was like, well, that would make sense if it was Bluetooth doing that. But I'm like, how the fuck is Austin gonna manage anybody? Like, didn't he try to do some shit like that, like with the fights and it all fell apart, or like somebody didn't get paid right or something? Like, the last thing I would ever do is let Austin fucking McBroom have anything to do with my career. Honestly, I would trust Bluetooth more than Austin. Because we didn't know who the fuck Croissant was until Bluetooth came along and made her something. So, you know, he is good at the viral marketing, whether we like it or not. Because we have not been able to escape him and his baby mamas, whether we wanted to or not. So, and I hadn't heard shit about the Ace family in the last couple years. So at least Bluetooth had somewhat of an edge on him with the marketing side of stuff. But other than that, they're the same person. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them ending up hanging out, working together, doing something, maybe have a fight with each other or something. Like, so what questions do y'all got about these two? Drop them in the comments. Make sure you put question in front, and also make sure that you keep the questions relevant to the Ace family, because that's who we're reading on right now. Suddenly blue is my favorite color. Oh my God. Well, I'm not kidding. They even look like they could be related to each other. But they have that same, I'm such a good guy, but you're really like the biggest fucking narcissist, you know, energy, and you just want everybody to fall for it so that you can somehow profit. Their whole family vlog is a scam. I know, after all of this stuff that has like happened with them over the years, because I have never heard of them being involved in anything, whether it's a product, an event, anything. I have never ever heard of it going right for them. Like, I know people want to drag Jaclyn Hill because they're like, every time that girl ever put out a Morphe palette, brushes, anything, like there was always like mold, or like half the people didn't get them, or like some kind of disaster was attached to it, right? The Ace family has actually done far worse. And then people still keep supporting them. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why? Why would you go to any of their events? Why would you still watch their show? Why would you still give them your money and your attention? So I think that Catherine's gonna continue to do some vlogging with the kids, but Spirit saying not to the extent that it was before. Like, most of the vlog stuff that she'll put out will be more about like her with like little clips of the kids here and there, but she actually won't, because I feel like she wants all the attention on her. Also, unless it's some huge YouTuber like Kai Cenat, or I don't know how you say his name, I'm sorry, I probably like butchered that. I feel her wanting to go for a bigger fish the next time around. Like, I want to prove to myself and everybody else that I can do better than Austin McBroom. I'm the girl that used to date Michael B. Jordan. You know, I want to go back to like that level of guy. And so I see her trying really hard to find somebody like that. Don't be surprised if we don't see her end up with somebody that's kind of like a singer, songwriter, trying, you know, like, I may have gotten some virality through TikTok and YouTube, but like, it's kind of like they're on that precipice of maybe blowing up a bit. And because it almost feels like a Shawn Mendes type of a, you know, style, or like a folk type of a thing. But she's gonna find somebody that people are gonna be like, oh, she really upgraded after Austin. But I don't feel her really being overly even interested in dating another YouTuber unless it was somebody really like big. How her being problematic? Are you talking about Choice TV? I mean, Spirit's saying to them, it's like people have been saying that shit over and over. They've had a million drama videos made about them. So to them, it's like, whatever, it's just another one. If they do, Mimi, if then either one of them serves any jail time, it's going to be Austin. But I don't see any jail coming for either one of them anytime soon. Does Austin have any moral compass left? No, he never had any in the first place. I mean, as for the people who said it seems like there's more narcissists than ever lately, and no more questions on that, guys. We're gonna move on to Kendall and Gigi. First and foremost, a lot of people get called narcissists when they aren't like a full-blown narcissist. You know, everybody has narcissistic tendencies, and we all have certain aspects of our personality that could veer towards narcissism if we're not careful with it. But, you know, it's just like we all have other good and bad qualities. It's which side of yourself are you pouring the most energy into and feeding that, you know, those qualities are the ones that get developed over the other ones, and you learn how to kind of control that. But social media can definitely turn up the narcissistic tendencies in certain people because they get their egos inflated by like, oh my God, look at all the people that love me and are like, you're amazing and all that kind of stuff constantly, right? On the other hand of that too, we're more educated than ever before because there is so much more resources and there's people that are talking about, you know, personality disorders and mental health issues and breaking those down. And so we're more educated on what the signs are. And then because everybody has access to so much information about one another because of social media and these types of platforms and stuff, more and more people are then given the opportunity to show us who they really are. And because we're better educated, we're able to be like, oh, that explains you, or I do see that. So it's not necessarily that there's more narcs, it's just more opportunities for us to be able to say that person is one or they aren't or whatever. But I also will say some people, they get called narcs because of certain behaviors that I've seen that people attribute to them, especially certain females. I think that they're actually more neurodivergent and they don't pick up social cues, and women are better at masking those things, which is why they have a much lower diagnosis rate at younger ages. And it's usually, you know, if you are high functioning a lot of times for a lot of people, I know, especially like in my age group, I was probably, I want to say like the first age group really, or my generation being an early millennial, because I was born in 1982, that we had kids around us actually getting like diagnosed with ADHD. But I can say that it was mostly only boys I ever saw being diagnosed with that. And so a lot of women in my age group, or that are in the millennial age group, then became adult ADHD diagnoses. And that's because they pushed to get that assessment for themselves as an adult when they realized that it was, you know, maybe I'm not processing things the same way that my peers are, or maybe because it seems like I have a harder issue with certain things at work, you know, or in my adult life, that it made me go searching for answers, and then I pushed for my own diagnosis and treatment. And so I think that, you know, I just, because people's energy and the things that they bring with them feel certain ways. So narcissism feels a certain way energetically. Somebody that has neurodivergence issues feels differently energetically. Somebody that may have like bipolar disorder feels energetically different. And I'm not diagnosing anybody. I'm saying that there's an energy that you can feel when you are an energy sensitive person. And so when you pay attention to some of those behaviors and you're aware of what high functioning, you know, Asperger's, autism, ADHD looks like, especially in women, sometimes I'm like, I don't think that person's the malignant narcissist that everybody's claiming that they are. I think they're not reading social cues, and they're using the masking to cover that up, and that makes them act that way, and you're misreading it. So I'm not saying any specific person. I'm just saying sometimes I see that when people want to tear apart certain celebrities or known people, and I'm like, but I don't think you're picking up what's really going on. So you were diagnosed at age 5 and you were born in 93. I'm glad you were able to get diagnosed like that. I think it was much different by the time that we got to the later 90s and early 2000s. I know in the early 90s and the late 80s, when like I was starting to see people in my peer group get diagnosed with it, including cousins of mine, it was all boys. So just like when they were starting to really make like autism diagnoses, it was mostly boys at first that were getting those too. Hey, Pink Rabbit. Well, welcome, babe. So, see, I mean, I've talked to my doctor a million times. Like, they just tell me I be trying to do too much. I still think I have ADHD, though. Like, I will forever believe that. I thought I did when I was a kid and barely knew what the heck it was. And I even said, I think I have that. And my mom was like, no, you don't. So she refused to ever pursue any of that. None of my teachers ever said that I did, but I've always thought that I did too. So anyways, apparently Kendall and Gigi may no longer be friends. Now, I wasn't really paying attention to all of that. But one of my Patreons put this up as a suggestion because they said that they don't see the two of them, you know, really hanging around with each other anymore. And then the funny thing is that yesterday I was scrolling through Instagram reels and somebody had posted like a slideshow of old pictures of them and said that they missed that friendship. And then there was like a conversation that was going on in the comments from people who were basically saying that like the Kardashians, you know, started separating themselves from the Hadids like a while back because of Selena Gomez and because of you know, they've been very outspoken about Palestine, and both of them are like semi blackballed within the industry right now because of it, because Bradley Cooper is dating Gigi, and apparently he didn't want to be seen publicly with her until he knew for sure, like, I didn't win the Golden Globe, so I'm not going to get that Oscar that I'm rolling for. And then it was like, okay, I guess I can be seen in public with her again. So let's see what the cards have to say about these two. You thought that they stopped being friends around the time Kim ignited the hate train for Mayo. They took some pictures at the Met Ball again, though, after that. So that's why it's like... Let's see what we got. And if you guys have questions about them, drop them in the chat with question in front of it, because we're getting towards the end when I'm going to have to wrap it up. Do you know what's so funny is... Oh boy. Okay. The underlying energy, we got the Palace of Cups, the Hermit, and the Knight of Cups. Spirit's saying to read this as every time that Gigi is in a relationship that she values, she tends to take a step back from the K-Clan anyways. Not because it's like she's trying to be one of those girls that's like, I have a boyfriend, so I don't need friends anymore. But it's because we know the reputation that that family of hoe bags has, and they will steal your man. And so it's more like, well, I gotta hide my boyfriends. I can't come around for a while because... you know, you or one of your sisters might try to do something funky over here. Also, Spirit saying that, you know, Gigi outgrew Kendall a very long time ago. It's like Kendall's still in the same exact space that she was in previously. Whereas Gigi, it's like, I've had a child, you know, I've taken time away from the industry and went and lived on a farm in Pennsylvania with my baby and my man. Like, now, you know, I have other things going on in my life, and it's like, my sister has gone on this mental health healing journey. Like, we're both doing things that have elevated us, or that in service of elevating us and growing as people, whereas Kendall is still like, oh my god, you guys, look, I have a horse, and complaining about Kylie, and it's the same dumb shit that she always does. There's no evolution. And the stuff that Spirit's saying that she was able to like overlook in the past, where it's like, Kendall's kind of rude to people. Because, I mean, if you look up, there's always stories about people saying, like, oh, Gigi and Bella are, like, literally, like, so nice. They aren't demanding. They're easy to work with. They're really nice girls. They're very polite. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want about Yolanda Hadid, but she, like, raised those girls properly. And Kendall's an entitled, rude asshole. And so it's, like, stuff like that Gigi was able to overlook in the past because they were kind of young, and it's like, oh, who cares? Now that she's a mom, it's like, I can't stand seeing somebody that's rude to waiters. I don't like being around this energy any longer. And so then on top of it, Spirit saying it's like her seeing like the drama they're constantly in, the Mean Girls stuff. She just doesn't want to be around it. But I also do get that at the same time that she was pulling away, the Kardashians were ready to drop her anyways. It's like Gigi picked the perfect timing to be like, I'm gonna go be a grown up now, because the Kardashians would have tried to fuck her over so bad, because they're always looking for somebody to do something to, whether it's that they get the points for sacrificing somebody or their career, or because they're jealous, or whatever else. And it is talking about Kendall having a very deep rooted jealousy of both of the sisters, because Gigi at one point was that girl, right? Then her sister became that girl. Kendall's always been the Nepo baby. And it's not like, oh, we don't also recognize that to a degree, you know, obviously Gigi and Bella are also Nepo babies, but we also know that they work. And I don't know, it's like they've been able to kind of establish themselves outside of who their parents are. Whereas, like, when you think of Kendall, all you think about is the rest of the Kardashians, right? So that did pigeonhole her a bit. And I don't see her having has been as in high demand over the past few years. But Spirit saying what set this jealousy off to the degree that Kendall would have tried to really fuck Gigi over if she'd had the opportunity to do it was because an opportunity went to Gigi and Kendall wanted it. And the crazy thing is that Spirit saying if Gigi had known, oh, Kendall really wanted that campaign, she would have told her agents, don't put me up for it, because it wasn't something that really mattered to her. But she had no idea that Kendall wanted that job. So it's like, okay, I took it. And now all of a sudden, I'm the asshole of the universe because I took something that I didn't know that you wanted or were trying to get anyways. Like, if you would have said, oh, I really want that, I would have just been like, cool, I'm going to go try out for something else then. So that's what really was like setting it off. And then Spirit saying, her seeing Bella also growing and like doing so good and stuff. And it was like, oh, Gigi doesn't need a replacement. She has her sister right behind her to step up and take her spot when she's tired of it. That made Kendall then hate Gigi. So they were friends in the sense, because I know somebody said, were were they really friends, or were they industry friends? Spirit saying from the perspective of Gigi and Bella, because they don't really play those Hollywood I'm gonna be your fake friend type of games, because they really are the types that'll just go be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go take a break and then spend a month on a farm in the middle of nowhere and nobody's gonna talk to them. Like, they don't give a shit to have to be all up in the mix constantly and everything. So Spirit's saying, you know, Kendall, it was more Kris Jenner pushing her. Go be friends with him. You know, it's good because their mom's on the Real Housewives and their stepdad's David Foster and their dad is Muhammad, and like, that's such good connections for us. And, you know, then it was also, and by being friends with them, then you can get more opportunities. Because what if Chanel wanted to hire the three of you and do a cute little campaign that was centered just around you three girls? So it was always, what can Kendall get out of that situation as to why they were friends? Whereas to Gigi and Bella, it was just like, oh, here's some other girl that gets it. Her family's on a reality show. She's also a model. Like, they were just thinking, oh, sister, my sister out there that also lives the same life as me and understands me. But it's the K clan. You should know that they will never seriously ever be friends with anybody unless they know that it will benefit them in one way or another. That goes for who they're dating. all of it. So, oh, you know what though? It's just, the sad thing is Gigi and Bella both, and I hate to say this, would do so much better if they just cut complete contact with Yolanda. Because Yolanda is so responsible for Bella's mental health issues and her anxiety. And she's obviously the reason why Gigi and Zayn, you know, had their big blow up. And she's just way too fucking much. Way too much. The Kendall runway walk. Oh my God, what was that? She has the worst walk, you guys. Like, if you go back, like, look at, like, Christy Turlington, Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss, like, all the girls from that era, like, they had the best walks. And then you look at Kendall clomping down the runway, and it's like, girl, what the hell? I was geeking when Zayn called Yolanda a French whore. Oh my God, Yasmin Gori, she was so beautiful, and her walk was everything. So Amber Valletta's walk was everything too, and she's so pretty. But it's just like, there are so many like naturally beautiful girls that could walk just they transfixed you, and they just had this talent and this otherworldly energy to them. But like, Kendall just seems like a mannequin. Like, she literally has the personality and the demeanor of the mannequin that's at the front of the store when you go into Zara, wearing some wrinkled cheap ass skirt that the second you get it home it's gonna fall apart in the wash. Like, that's what she just, that's the best that she could do. I mean, even her photo shoots are giving nothing. It's like, yes, Kendall, give us blank stares and dead eyes. You know what your people want. Kendall is that one girl that was popular in high school and never lets that go for the rest of their lives. Well, apparently she didn't really have any friends in school either. Kylie was supposed to be the popular one. So I didn't watch the show. That's just what I've seen Kendall say in interviews. I didn't have any friends. I just used to hang out with Kylie's and her friends. And her horse, apparently. So, I mean, of course it is. She was the best little yachter. Her mama taught her well. Most of those girls are. Kendall's so boring. I mean, we were talking about in Patreon, like, what does she even bring to the show? Because it just seems like from the previews that I've seen, you know, because Chris will get all of the blogs to post, like, previews of that shitty show before it premieres again. And it seems like every year, like, Kendall's storyline is that she has a horse. And I'm just like, what else do you have? You have a horse, but like, how many people are interested in you and your horse? Don't you have anything else to like bring to this stupid ass show? Kylie is boring too, but she's a bit more interesting than Kendall. Her only iconic moment was cutting a cucumber wrong. That's so sad, but it's so true. Which, by the way, I was like, who the fuck cuts a cucumber like that? Like, just slice your arm up, you dummy. Like, what the fuck? She has a horse and is friends with Tyler, the Creator. How edgy. This is why I will never understand how that show has had like 27 seasons or however many it's had. Every single time that I've ever tried to give that show any opportunity, whether it was, because y'all know, like, my favorite and only favorite celebrity is Kanye, because I love the chaos. But I've always loved Kanye since, like, he blew up. I've loved Kanye. I tried to watch the first season that, like, when she was dating him, just because I was like, oh, is Kanye gonna be on the Kardashians now? And then somebody said, no, he's not. And I was like, oh God, I don't have to watch this anymore. Thank God. It was the most boring fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't sit around watching people eat salad and fighting about who wore a pair of shoes first. It's just like, what entertainment does anybody get out of this? They have no personalities. They're the worst people in the entire fucking world. Like, no, I'm good. Oh, yes. The Kardashian snark subreddit is literally gold. That they call Kylie Longbottom. And now I can't unsee it. Every time I see pictures of her from the side, I'm like, they're right, though. She does have a really long bottom. When Kanye would show up would be the highlight of the season. Well, that's the thing, is that it's like, I get, you know, any of the Kanye clips, whether he was there or they were talking about him, always get clipped and then pushed out, whether it's through the blogs or Instagram reels or YouTube shorts, because they know that Kanye is the most interesting part of that whole damn family. I get to see it anyway, so I'm like, I didn't miss out on anything. It's just Kim trying to, you know, rewrite history and victimize herself and blame everything on Kanye. What a surprise. So it's like, I don't gotta watch the show for that. Oh yeah, definitely never idolize any celebrity, and remember that these people are all fallible and nobody's perfect, you know, but Kanye says some real ass shit. So, but also, let's give credit where credit is due. A lot of the real ass shit that Kanye says was first exposed to us by Minister Farrakhan, and he has spent his entire career, you know, with people trying to silence him and paint him out to be crazy and give him all kinds of he's anti or prejudiced or this or that kind of stuff. And, you know, I think that they still go after him, but I think that, you know, a lot of people have realized that Farrakhan ain't about to be stopped anytime soon. But we do got to give him credit, because a lot of the things that Kanye has exposed, Farrakhan did expose years previously. I mean, Mr. Farrakhan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say his name disrespectfully. So, I ain't going to lie, the first season was interesting, but it was Courtney and Scott that carried the show. I mean, that's why every, like, the clips that I've seen and the explanations that I've seen of stuff, it always seemed like it was more about Courtney and Scott than anything else. So, oh, Kanye's music is amazing. I love Kanye's music. Which, let's wrap it up, guys. Let me know, since we've had a whole month to listen to Pink Friday 2, what is your favorite song off of the album? Or what have you been streaming the most? Barbie Dangerous just got me from the first listen, so that's what I literally listen to on repeat probably 15 times a day right now. Because I always loved the original with Biggie and Bone Thugs and Harmony, so that was my favorite so far. But I mean, there really isn't like any skips on the album except for, well, Super Freaky Girl, but it was never my favorite song. So I'm just like over it. So I'm just like, okay, that one I'll skip. But the rest of them, no skips. Pink Birthday and Blessings. Beep Beep was good, but I didn't like the whole murder section of the song, creeped you out. And Press Play, Bomb Bomb, yes, both good too. Falling for You, I really liked that one. And Blessed and Barbie Dangerous. You skipped a lot of the songs that she did collabs on. Oh. I'm ready for her to not work with Future anymore. And Drake. I will say that. I'm like, I love Nicki and I love her verses on those songs, but Future is not my favorite artist, and I've never liked Drake's music for the most part. The only Drake songs that I've ever liked were the ones that were with Nicki or Wayne anyways, and it was usually like, oh, it was their songs and Drake just, you know, was the feature on it. So I'm just kind of like, I'll take never, if we could pick somebody that Nicki never collabs with again, it would be between Future and Drake for me. Oh, My Life. I love the sample and Just Some Memories. That's a good one too. Memories is good, yes. Bomb Bomb, Red Ruby, Beep Beep. Since 2020, none of these mainstream artists haven't dropped good music, even the ones I've considered my favorite artists. R&B is so dope too. Yeah. Well, listen. I will leave you with one final thing. And again, all of our Nicki readings are over on Patreon too now, guys, because the duds are still watching and plotting. Because we haven't even gotten Roman yet, so there's still more to come. But you know, as far as like why we also get so many remakes and samples and everything is because that is being forced on the artists, whether they realize it or not. You know, it's like maybe that's all that the beats that the producers are giving them is remade samples, or the label wants them to like remake a sample of something. And part of that is because number one, they're trying to help build AI. So, you know, if you have, for example, I'm just going to use Nicki just because we're talking about her right now, the original Rick James, then there's been many songs that have come from that sample over the years, including Can't Touch This by MC Hammer, you know. Then you take Nicki remakes a song to that sample too. Well, now you have all of these different voices that can go into the AI program that have made a song with that. So then when they want to take away all the real artists and only push AI music onto us, they will have developed it, because look at how many different artists that they got to like sing or rap over that same beat. Now we can develop our AI better. So part of it's that. Part of it is because we will be so thirsty for some decent music that's original. Guess what? It's gonna be like, oh, Well, none of the people that you guys have been listening to are capable of doing that anymore, but you might like this original song that our robot created. All of it leads back to them to completely getting rid of real artists and entertainers and replacing everybody with AI in the future. So, Victoria Monet and Coco Jones have been dropping good music. Callie Uchis and Victoria Monet are eating. Callie is so fine to me. She does have good music. Yeah, I like both of, I like all three of those ladies too. I don't understand why anybody would listen to AI artists. Just so weird to me. I'll write my own music and sing it before I listen to an AI artist. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. We still got a ways to go, but you know, that's why they're trying to push all of that. So, anyways, guys, I gotta head out because I have to call somebody. But I hope that the light and the stands and the angle are working because I finally got my tripod put together. I had to look up the instructions because like some of the pieces I was like, if I put this in wrong, it's gonna break and the whole thing ain't gonna stand up, and that's not what we want. But we're good now. So now we have a semi-permanent filming space. But in the meantime, if anybody wanted to book their own personal private reading with me, psychicbellowlove.com. Also, if you want to join us on Patreon, patreon.com/psychicbellowlove. That is the only place that I take requests. We also have completely exclusive content over there. I don't post it there first and then a while later over here. It all stays separate. And in the meantime, guys, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me. If you are not already subscribed, please do so. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. It is a free way to support the channel. And I hope everybody is having a good beginning of their new year. Stay safe, stay warm. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves. You are important. You matter. So you have to make yourself a priority too, okay? Love you guys. Bye.